Hey, everybody. How we doing? All right. I'm doing okay. I am. I'm feeling pretty good. Had a heavy workload. And by the grace of God, a lot got done. So I'm feeling a lot of relief. And some new information has come my way. Yes, indeed. So all this issue about being able to travel and not have a driver's license, not have a license plate, tabs, have your vehicle registered, all that stuff. All right. There's a few things to understand. All of these traffic courts are clown courts. It is. It's a clown court because it's not really a court. You have an administrative judge administering because we give up our rights. Yep, because we have been trained from the day we were born to give up our rights, just like our parents and our grandparents. So that's one of the most important things to understand is the difference. Clown courts full of parasites and treasonous rats and British agents versus common law courts, courts of God, courts of truth, courts of honor. Okay, so you can give up your rights. That's a fact. Or you can own them. So we have not been taught to own our rights. So I'm here to teach you how to own your rights. Now, I've been talking about a few things over and over and over. And some of my followers, they nod their heads, yep, but they don't act. And then, then comes along a road pirate. And there go the lights, and there goes the scenario. And then they're dealing with it, and they don't have their notice of liability in place. Now, if that notice of liability was in place, that's a real game changer from the standpoint of bringing a case against the treasonous rat. Yes, indeed. So, something was brought to my attention about the passport. I happen to have a passport. And I spent a lot of time with a passport. I was back and forth to China 50 sometimes. Spent the better part of 5 years over there doing product development. And I have to say that I never paid attention to this. Right here, on first page, you open it up right over here. I'm going to read this. The Secretary of State of the United States of America hereby request all whom it may concern to permit the citizen national of the United States named herein to pass without delay or hindrance, and in case of need to give all lawful aid and protection. Oh, there's a lot said in there. Did you catch it? Let's read it again. The Secretary of State. I stuttered. I'm going to start over. The Secretary of State of the United States of America hereby request all whom it may concern to permit the citizen national of the United States named herein to pass without delay or hindrance, and in case of need, to give all lawful aid and protection. Wow. Who are they talking about? They're talking about the fiction. You see, it says, to whom it may concern to permit the citizen national of the United States, not the United States of America, the United States. Because you see, my name is all in caps in here. All caps. So, there's a place here for signature of bearer, and I got a signature on there. But I did something. I did something else. Now that I understand this, now that I know this, and I understand UCC 1-308, right here underneath my signature, all rights reserved, UCC 1-308. So what does that do? Well, you see, I'm being a good trustee to this fiction that's a fraud. It is a fraud. And I call it out as a fraud. Because to not call it out as a fraud is treason. To hide treason is treason. So what this is just more evidence of that evil, nefarious Black's law, that witchcraft, that spelling. So the government here says the Secretary of State of the United States of America hereby request all whom it may concern to permit the citizen national of the United States named herein to pass without delay or hindrance, and in case of need, to give all lawful aid and protection. All right, we're going to come back to that. But let's take a look at the driver's license. All caps. That is a citizen national of the United States. It's a fiction. Now, I always use the fiction with your citations to these administrative courts. So, underneath your signature on a driver's license, without prejudice, pursuant to UCC 1-308. That means privileges without penalties, because statutes, acts, rules, regulation, code, all has to be in line with the common law, or it cannot stand as law. However, these British agents, they get you to give up your rights, put you in a jurisdiction of DC, the United States, when you are an American. In your one-page notice of liability, facilitated in a court of record, the highest court, the people's court, not the Supreme Court way down here, way down here, as part of the judicial, as part of the three branches of government. No. Superior Court, People's Court. Understand the difference in jurisdiction. You go into the People's Court, the highest court. Comes now affiant. One of the people. This is my original. As seen in the Michigan Bill of Rights, Article 1, Section 1, Michigan Constitution, G. Juris in this court of record do make the following claims. Now, the one for all Americans, the generic one that I made, I put in a very powerful article section. I got the language. One of the people of the several states, as seen in, I believe it's Indiana, Article 1, Section 1. G. Juris in this court of record do make the following claims. You get that in this court of record. Now, what are you doing there? I declare and adamantly affirm the following. Whoa! You're making a declaration. You did something before you made that declaration. What'd you do? Oh, you came into court. You came into court as what? As affiant. What else? One of the people. Whoa. And what did that do? That set your status, your standing, and your jurisdiction. Absolutely. That's what it did. You set your status, your standing, your jurisdiction, and then in that court of record, you're giving testimony with a declaration under penalty of perjury. Then you get into the terms and the penalties. And I've read through all this before, so I'm not going to read it here now. But this, you own your authority. You set your status, your standing, your jurisdiction. Here, you be a good trustee. Own your authority without prejudice, pursuant to UCC 1-308. Privileges without penalties. Oh, you didn't have your seatbelt on? Oh, you got an open intoxicant? Oh, you're smoking a joint? Oh, you got a tail light out? Oh, you crossed over the yellow light? Oh, you're doing 10 over? Oh, too bad. So sad. Did you cause any harm? No. Well, privileges without penalty. Now, who are they going to write that citation to? I guarantee you it's to the fiction. They're trained to do it in all caps. It's always in the all caps. Why? Because they can't administer a free man. They can't. But they can trick you and coerce you into giving up your rights. Is that lawful? No. Do they get away with it? Yeah. Why? Because they own it. They own the prosecution, they own the defense, and they own behind the bench. And any of their own that would ever come out to say anything, they'll destroy them. So these cowards just wet their pants and play the game. That's treason. Flat out, pure and simple, treason. So they don't teach you this in school. They don't teach you this when you're out of school. They don't teach you this in higher education. They don't even teach it in law school. But I'm here teaching it for you. Check it out for yourself. UCC 1-308. Now, don't wait until after you got a citation. Don't do that. However, if you happen to have a passport and you happen to have one of these things, and you are not in commerce, and you are not in contract with the government, you're not a trustee, you're not a servant, you're a free man, male or female, that's been lied to all your life. If you knew what American was, I dropped it, I'm going to pick it up. If you knew what an American was, none of this would be necessary. None of it. You would be living free. You wouldn't be living in fear, and you would be happy. Fact. So, let's say you happen to have a passport and you happen to have an operator's license. You didn't put the statement on here. You didn't put the statement on here. What can you do about it? You can use logic. Travel with both of them. You get one of them road pirates, record it, make him read this. Make him read this out loud. It's a short paragraph. The Secretary of State of the United States of America hereby request all whom it may concern to permit the citizen national slave of the United States 10 square miles named herein to pass without delay or hindrance in the case of need, and in the case of need to give all lawful aid and protection. How are they going to give lawful aid and protection to a fiction? Explain that to me. I don't have an explanation for it. I believe this is some bastardized type language here. This is that spelling BS. It says to let the fiction pass. There's the fiction. There's the fiction. So don't let them drag you into that administrative process as the fiction, because they're representing you. You need an attorney. Why do you need an attorney? Because the attorney's going to represent you as the fiction. And then that administrative judge is going to punish you, the living flesh and blood. Yes, indeed. Oh, it could even put you in prison. Might even kill you. Taking your money for sure. That's just pure extortion. Why? Because you gave up your rights. Why? Because you didn't know how to own your rights. So what are you going to do if you got a passport? You can write all rights reserved UCC 1-308. I did. What are you going to do if you got one of these? You can put without prejudice pursuant to UCC 1-308. I did. That means privileges without penalties. Now there's another UCC. I think it starts out 2 something. And it stipulates that you must make this statement prior to having an incident, like a citation or a fine or a penalty imposed upon you. All right. And with this, what'd you do? You came into court, the highest court, way up here. What's between the Superior Court and the Supreme Court? Well, let's see. We got God way up here, creator way up here. And then we come down, we got man created by God. Man creates government, free government down here. Free government. There are servants and our substitutes, and they're there for public safety. That means make sure the potholes are fixed, the roads are safe, they're plowed, the dirt roads are groomed. We don't have flood waters, got proper drainage, keep them safe for the people. Commerce, keep them semi trucks safe. School buses, taxi cabs, make sure the city water is working, the garbage is getting picked up. That's how you keep us safe, not by administering us. We are the boss. You can't administer me. Impossible, because I'm free. You should be too. With this notice of liability, court, the highest court, way up here. Down here is the three branches of government: executive, legislative, and judicial. That's where your Supreme Court is. In this judicial. What's above that? What's above the three branches of government? Sheriff. What's above that? Grand jury. Oh, now we're talking. And from the grand jury is your warrants to your sheriff, to your law enforcement officer. And then the trial up here in the people's court from the grand jury. What's above the grand jury? Assemblymen. What's above the assemblymen? The people. Not all people need to be an assemblyman. Not all assemblymen need to be jurors. And below that is your sheriff. And below that is your three branches of government where you have your Supreme Court. All right? Starting to make sense. That's right, China. Common law, they never taught, is the highest law of the land. That's a fact. All right, people. Own your authority. Facilitate that Americans Notice of Liability. Go serve it on your sheriff and record it. And then send me the video. Share it far and wide. Show the people, just like Josh Eddy did, how to do it. I hear tell we got an auditor sitting on a tape because he's afraid. All he did was record it. The man that did the speaking wanted it. But the first minute auditor is afraid. Of what? I don't know. But then the story changed. The story changed, and now the audio video is corrupted. But I believe it happened in the sheriff's lobby. So if somebody really wanted it, a FOIA request would get it. People, you got to get over your fear. Reap what you sow. You live in fear, put your head in the sand, hide like a coward, you can expect to get it the way you don't want it. You want to live free with liberty? You want to live in happiness and prosperity? Well, then, by God, stand up. Stand up and be a man. By God, people, this is simple. You're either on the good side or you're on the bad side. It's one or the other. Hiding treason is treason. Giving up your rights is sinful. God's not happy about that. Not at all. And neither am I. All right. Enough of that. I got some updates. My cup isn't all stained with coffee. How come, Ethan? I've been drinking coffee morning to night for years, decades, really. And taking a break. Oh, that was a killer headache. Oh, boy, was that a killer headache. But it was worth it. It was worth it. So I'm not in that situation with the caffeine and the coffee. So after about I don't know, week, 10 days, I got back to coffee. I have a pot in the morning. I'll have a pot before I go to bed. But all day long, I'm doing something else. What you doing, Ethan? I'm doing this. This is cheap as free. This is white pine. And if you look, you see that's 5 needles coming off of one spot there. That's 5 needles. And this is more than enough to make yourself a tea. So what do? You take and you cut it up with scissors. Cut them 1 inch, ½ inch, whatever. The more cuts, the better. Then what do? Well, you boil water. Just plain old water. Boil it. Once water comes to boil, what do? You take it off. And then you dump these in there. And then you let it sit for 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. And the majority of the needles are going to sink to the bottom. Just stir it. Almost all of them are going to sink to the bottom. That way, when you go to pour it, you don't have to worry much about filtering. And what do you get? You get something that looks like this. See that color? That's a beautiful color. It's kind of a reddish brown. And it's very healthy. Got a lot of phytonutrients. Very, very high in vitamin C and other vitamins and minerals. So it's very healthy. And so if you got white pine trees, you got yourself some fruit in there. And it's good. It is. It's quite tasty. I don't add anything to it. No sweetener, no cream, nothing. I always drink my coffee. Well, I've been drinking my coffee black for a long, long time. I suppose when I was a kid, I used to put sugar in it. But I don't do that. So anyways, I'm feeling the difference from the tea. I am. It's it brings about clarity of mind. It gives energy, and I know it's boosting my immune system. So today I filed a case. I filed a sheriff case. All right, I worked until midnight last night finishing up gathering the names, sheriffs and undersheriffs, and addresses for all the counties in Michigan. And today I got out and I facilitated one. And soon I'll post it up on the website so that everybody can read it. I also did something else. I filed another case. I filed a case on a judge here in Kalkaska County. Yep, Judge Lynn M. Boudet. Oh, she is a terrible treasonous rat. British agent. Oh, yeah. So we'll see what transpires here. It's unrebutable. We'll see what happens. I had fun with it. And I did something real powerful, too. Something that might surprise you all. I'll be happy to talk about it when the time's right. Priority service from Kalkaska to Kalkaska. I imagine that gets delivered tomorrow. Get 3 days to answer. Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Tuesday, court is closed. No court has jurisdiction to rehear the matter. So we'll see how this goes. I think it's going to go pretty good. All right, what else is going on? Oh, them truckers. Woo-wee. People getting together, sticking together. That's what we got to do for the sheriffs. If you want your freedom and your liberty, you need law enforcement. If they had law enforcement in Canada, those truckers wouldn't have to be doing what they're doing. The sheriffs would do it. The truckers wouldn't be having to do what they're doing all over the world, including in America, if we had law enforcement. And all of these sheriffs are so dumbed down. They don't even know their job. Or if they do, then they are willful treasonous rats. Willful treasonous rats. Sheriff Darleaf and Jason Sixberry proved to be willful treasonous rats. Patrick Whiteford and Wagner and Leach here in Kalkaska, they're willful treasonous rats. 3 garrison commanders over there at Camp Grayling, willful treasonous rats. I'm disgusted. I'm absolutely disgusted. You should be too. God is really pissed. He is. Like, what's it going to take for you people to wake up and end this? You take one piece of spaghetti. You can break it. Kid can break it. Put 1,000 pieces of spaghetti together. You're going to be real hard pressed to break that. That's what happens if we come together. One at a time, dumb down, giving up our rights, snap, break you. Time and time again. If we band together, own our authority, stand up, Don't hide treason. That's treasonous. Don't you care? Don't you care about grandma and grandpa? Don't you care about your kids? Don't you care about mom and dad? Don't you care about your fellow man? By God, people. It's so simple. And it's got to be abrogated. By God, this evil has got to go. These British agents do not belong here. Democrats do not belong here. This is a republic. All right, I'm going to have a lot more to say. Wow, we got some comments. For Scully, I serve Franklin County Sheriff and the Washington collectors and district court, and they all left me alone. What'd you serve them with? Did you serve them with the notice of liability? You got video of that? We want video to show the people how to do it. Have you ever had OSHA root? No, I have not, but I've heard about it. There's a lot of good things. That is something to be proud of. For Scully, yes. Proud of you. Yeah, they were served my fee and fine schedule, so they know it will be costing them up front if they think they're going to be bringing me into their clown courts. Hey, that's you're not going into their clown court unless they handcuff you and drag you in there. What's going on in Ottawa, Canada's epic and its history in the making. That's a fact. That is a fact. The way them people are banding together, that is beautiful. See, I'm very, very leery of this appointed sheriff these treasonous county commissioners have appointed. Working on a declaration of the people of Washington Republic based on Article 4 for United States Constitution. We owed a republic. Yeah, right on. All right, people. Anybody got a question you want to ask before I sign off? Go ahead and post it in the comment if you do. That's beautiful. They got such a smart audience. I love y'all. All right. Own your authority, people. If you need to, watch this again and again. And share it. Share it far and wide. And repeat. Share, 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 repeat. Share, 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 repeat. And if you got a couple of bucks, send it over. You people are so afraid to send any money. These truckers raised up, what, $5-6 million? Like nothing. Christopher Key's raising all kind of money to put up vaccine billboards. And bringing all the sheriffs into court in the state of Michigan. Every one of them. In a matter of days of each other. Unrebutable testimony. We're going to record it all. There's a lot of printing. I facilitated one with the notary jurt today, just so I can share what the case is. The files are complete. I just need to print it off, facilitate it with the notary jurt. Case is filed. All of them. Then we serve them with the Constitutional Accountability Committee, with the aid of the People's Bureau of Investigation, And we're going to record it all. And the world's watching. You got $5 you can send? Send it. You got $1 you can send? Send it. 1,000,000 people send $1, that's $1,000,000. We can put up some billboards. Not just here in Michigan, down in Ohio, Illinois, Wisconsin. The whole country can watch and learn what we're doing here in Michigan. You're not going to get control of your servants with assemblies because you don't have law enforcement. You're not going to do it with surety bonds. You're not going to do it giving your hard-earned money and your personal paperwork to Mookie over in Australia for a national ID. You're not going to get your servants under control by chasing your QSIP number. You're going to get your servants under control with law enforcement. That's your sheriff, the highest law enforcement officer on the land. Run for sheriff. Anybody can run for sheriff. Elections are coming up. And there's 400 members of Sheriff Mack's posse. Sheriff Mack is a treasonous rat, in my opinion. And he's holding all those good men back. You know, a constitutional sheriff, you ought to direct them over here. They need to start standing up and talking. But you know what I hear? I hear some of these constitutional sheriffs ain't got no balls, no cojones. They got no sand. They got no steel in their spine. They won't come on and talk with me. Yeah, they won't come on and talk with me. So how are they going to uphold law when they can't even be truthful and honest because they're afraid of the system? So these men, they got to know that we got their back. And they got to know if they don't have our back, we're coming for them with the fury of God, with the righteous indignity that this situation deserves. Teach your sheriffs, run for sheriff. Encourage people to run for sheriff. Let's get law and order. Let's have peace, happiness, tranquility, prosperity, safety, privacy. All the good things that God wants you to have. Before you know it, you're going to have clean, healthy water, clean, healthy food, lots of free time, lots of money, lots of good times. By God, that's the way it's going to be. All right, everybody. I love you. Stay safe. Go hard. Own your authority.